guys, today we're going to be solving linear systems using the steps to solving a linear system using elimination. And the first step we know is to look for opposites. So we're looking for a variable that will cancel itself out. So a positive 2x and a negative 2x, or a negative 3y and a positive 3y. Once we get those, we go to step number 2. And step number 2 is when we add the system. So you add the two equations that you have to cancel out one of the variables or eliminate it. Step 3 is to take what you got after you added them, your sum of the equations, and solve for the last variable that you have. So say you get x equals to a number or y equals to a number, then you need to take that in step 4 and plug it into one of the original equations in your system. You substitute that in and you solve for the last remaining variable. You'll now have an x equal to a number, a y equal to a number, and you have your solution as an ordered pair. So we have this system of linear equations. 4x plus 8y equals 20 is one of the equations. The second equation is negative 4x plus 2y equals negative 30. We follow our steps, and the first thing we do is look for opposites. Can we identify them? And we would say yes, because 4x and negative 4x are definitely opposites. So that will be our step 1. Next, what we need to do is go to step 2 and add the systems to eliminate one of the variables. When you add opposites, they always eliminate. 4x plus a negative 4x is 0x, or just 0. 8y plus 2y is 10y. Positive 20 plus a negative 30 gives us a negative 10. We go to step 3, which is solve for the remaining variable, which will be y in this case. So we solve for y by dividing both sides by 10. Y will equal negative 1. Save that. You're going to need that for step 4. Step 4 is substitute the value of the variable into one of the original equations. So we are going to use, doesn't matter which one we're going to use, I'm going to use the first one. All positives, I like that. So I'm going to erase right now, up here, give myself a little bit of room. I'm going to go 4x plus 8. Now y equals negative 1, so I'm going to substitute negative 1 in for y, and that will equal 20. Now I solve for the other variable, which is step 5. 4x equals negative 8. Oh, not equals 8, negative 8. Plus negative 8 or minus 8 equals 20. Add 8 to both sides. 4x equals 28, and we know that when we divide 28 by 4, we will get x equals 7. That is the other variable that we needed, so the solution to our system is 7, negative 1. So when working with word problems, the first thing you need to do is read and annotate. You need to go through the question. So if we're reading this question, it says the senior classes at high school A and high school B have planned separate trips to the water park. The senior class at high school A rented and filled 6 vans and 3 buses with 228 students. That's probably relevant information. High school B, filled and rented 6 vans and 6 buses with 366 students. Each van and bus carried the same number of students. How many students can a van carry? That is the question. How many students can a bus carry? That is the other question. Those are the 2 things you need to answer. Next up, you need to define your variables. So let's go with V and B. V is for van. V is for the number of students a van can carry. B will be for the number of students a bus can carry. Okay, after you define your variables, you need to write out the system of equations. We will do that. So the first equation will be in regards to high school A. So we know they filled 6 vans and 3 buses. So we're going to go 6V plus 3B equals 228. Our second equation will be for high school B, and that filled 6 vans and 6 buses for 366 students. That is your system of equations. So after we write our system, we need to solve the system. So I am going to go to a new slide. We have our system. And now we need to solve our system. The first step, if you recall, is to look for opposites. We currently do not have any, but we see that if we multiply one of the equations by a negative 1, we will have opposites with our 6v variable. So I'm going to multiply the bottom one
by a -1 on both sides. When I do that, I'll rewrite the first one first. 6v plus 3b equals 228. And the second equation will be -6v minus 6b equals -366. Now that I have opposites, I can move to step 2, which is add in order to eliminate. And I will do that and get 0v minus 3b equals -138. We're going to divide by -3 on both sides. And our b variable, so b is going to equal 46. That means the buses carry 46 students. You can write that down. Now we need to go back and substitute this value for b into one of the original equations. Alright, so you take the b, and we're going to plug it into just the first equation. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. I'm going to use the first one. So I'm going to go to the next slide, and I'm going to have 6v plus 3b equals 228. So b equals 46, so I'm going to rewrite and substitute for b. So 6v plus 3 times 46 equals 228. 6v plus 138 equals 228. Subtract 138 on both sides. 6v equals 90. Divide by 6 on both sides. And v will give you 15. So that means that each bus held 46 students, each van held 15. That is the answer to your question. Happy St. Patrick's Day.